Hello Internet. Today I am going to share with you my TBR for the next round of Read-O-Rama. Read-O-Rama is a week-long readathon that's hosted by Elizabeth over at the Owlery and a couple of other hosts that I don't actually follow, but I will link all of their channels down in the description below. This round of Read-O-Rama is going to be June 11th through the 17th, and there are 8 reading challenges. I built my TBR around 7 of those challenges, so I thought I would go ahead and share what those books are going to be. Now the reason that I am only doing 7 of the challenges rather than all 8 is because one of the challenges is to read 7 books, and as someone who is working full-time, that I know that there is no way in my wildest dreams that I would ever be able to read 7 books in 1 week. So I just decided to scrap that, but I did use all the other 7 challenges to create my TBR of 5 books, and I will even be surprised if I can read those 5 books. A lot of them are shorter, so I'm hoping maybe that will help me out, but you can only do so much when you work full-time. So anyway, I'm going to get into the TBR now. The first book on my TBR is Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. I knew that I was going to need some kind of contemporary book in this TBR because I have just kind of really been in the mood for a YA contemporary lately, and also I really love Morgan Matson and I haven't read this one yet, and this book works for 2 of the challenges. The first challenge is read a book with the word Rama in the title and or author's name, so Rama for Read-O-Rama. So this is one of the several books, this TBR, that works for. We have an R in Morgan Matson's name, A, M, and then another A up here. So it works for that challenge, and it also works for the challenge of read a book with water on the cover. As you can see, she's kind of sitting at the pier and there's all this pretty water out there. So I'm very much looking forward to picking this one up. The next book on my TBR is Messenger by Lois Lowry. This is the 3rd book in the Giver Quartet. I'm currently reading the 2nd one right now, and I want to try and make my way through the rest of these books so that way I can get them off my TBR shelves. But this works for the challenge of read a book that is less than 150 pages, and this book clocks in at 142 pages, so just barely works. And I think I'm going to listen to this one on audio. I did check, and my library does have this book on audiobook and in disc form as well. I think it also has it on Overdrive, but I really like listening to audiobooks whenever I drive to and from work, and so I think that I'm going to request the audiobook for this around the time of Read-O-Rama so that way I can listen to this that particular week. The next book on my TBR is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I have been wanting to read this book for a while, pretty much since I bought it last year sometime. And this book works for 2 of the challenges. One of them is just to read a book you've been anticipating, and pretty much since I bought it I've been wanting to read it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. And it also works for the challenge of read a book that was released in the summer of any year, and this book came out in July last year. I'm dying to read more things by Victoria Schwab, especially since I finished A Conjuring of Light, and since the 2nd book in this duology comes out next month as well, called Our Dark Duet, and I'm gonna want to read that pretty quickly, I'm sure, because I've heard nothing good things about this book. So I'm gonna read that and then hopefully pick up Our Dark Duet, maybe read it sometime next month also. If nothing else, I'll read it in July. The next book I have on my TBR is Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna McGuire. And this book also works for the challenge of read a book you've been anticipating, because I heard so much about this book that I cannot wait to read it. And it also works for read an own voices book, and I have been told that this is an own voices book as far as asexual representation goes. The main character in this book is Ace, and I know that there are some other diverse elements to it as well. It's very short also, and I have just heard nothing but phenomenal things about it, so I cannot wait to finally read it. And the last book on my TBR is Wires and Nerve by Marissa Meyer. This was the book that I had originally picked up for the Read a Book with Rama in the title and author's name challenge, and then I just found out it worked for another book. But we have an M in Marissa Meyer, an A also in Marissa Meyer, an R in Wires, and then another A in the word and. And this also works for the challenge of read a graphic novel. And this is kind of a continuation of the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer, which are sci-fi retellings of fairy tales, and I love that series, and I'm very excited to read this graphic novel. It takes place after the events in Winter, so I had to wait until I read Winter, and I wanted to wait until after I read Stars Above too, which is like a collection of novellas in the Little Chronicles, just in case there was anything spoilery in this graphic novel. But this is going to be a new graphic novel series following the character Aiko. And I'm really excited because I love Aiko, and I'm glad that she's kind of getting her own story, and I think all of the other characters pop up in this as well. But I guess you could also say I've been anticipating reading this, so it also works for that also. But I'm very, very excited to finally dive into this, and since it's a graphic novel, I know I'll be able to finish it very quickly. So that's it for my Read-O-Rama TBR. I'll also put the challenges in the description in case you want to read along, and I found that it's a lot easier to figure out challenges for readathons if they're in the description. I hate it when people don't put challenges in the description. So I'll put those down there. But even though I have 5 books on my TBR, since 3 of them are really, really short, I'm hoping that I can maybe make it through all of those books. We'll just have to see. Let me know in the comments if you are participating in Read-O-Rama and what you're planning on reading. And that will be it for this video, and I will see you guys next time with another video.